Over the weekend, former President Obama, says aliens are real. Or did he? That's what everybody was talking about this week. The amount of tweets and amount of things that I saw that I had seen it and I saw it pop up. My good friend Attack Peter sent it to me, and other people started sending it to me. People were wondering what was going on. And so there was an interview where he was talking about a lot of different things. And at the end, it was like a rapid fire question. And the question was asked about aliens in general. And his answer was a little subtle. And what he said, the second part of it was picked up. It was what wasn't asked, what was really picked up. And then there was follow-up afterwards, too. So let's play the initial clip here. And then we'll discuss the portion that everyone was talking about. And then we'll talk about the follow-up. So here's the initial interview. Check it out.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in, what is it?
Area 51?
Area 51. There's no underground facility unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from the President of the United States.
What was the first question you wanted answered when you became president?
Where are the aliens?
Where are the aliens?
All right, so if you've been following my journey, I've been really hitting the gym. And I was feeling the change, and everything that was easy beforehand, it just wasn't anymore. I think it started to really hit me about 5 years ago. I could feel it. No matter if I was eating well or whatever, I felt like sometimes I was just kind of, slugging along. One day you're crushing it. Next day you're wondering why everything feels twice as hard. And I think some people just, your testosterone, it lowers as you get older. The new year hit this year. I was like, wait a minute. I got to feel energized again. I don't want to feel worn down. I want to really hit these things hard. And that was why I was excited to hear about Mars Men. What is it? It helps your body unlock usable testosterone so you can feel like yourself again. Mars Men is designed to help free lock testosterone so your body can actually use it. There's no synthetics, there's no needles, just real ingredients that help optimize energy, focus, and strength. What's great about it is there's now stronger physical performance, fast recovery from the gym, more consistent, natural energy. It's not like drinking a cup of coffee. It's a steadier sense of drive throughout the day. Supports healthy T levels, energy, stamina. 8 natural clinically dosed ingredients, made in the USA, and it's third-party tested. There's a 90-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk with that. So the worst case is you don't like it, and you get your money back. Over 91% of users report higher energy levels. Thousands of guys are feeling incredible results. Just check out the reviews on the website and go check it out yourself. For a limited time, our listeners get 50% off for life, plus free shipping. 3 free gifts at mengotomars.com. Perfect way to kick off the new year strong. That's mengotomars.com. You get 50% off and 3 free gifts at the checkout. Use the code DTE. So you're going to purchase, and then they're going to say, hey, where'd you hear about us? You got to support our show, and you got to tell them that we sent you. Go check it out. Mars Men. All right, so that's Brian Tyler Cohen. And so I know the guy has like a major following, and he's got millions of subscribers on his channel. It just doesn't mean anything. It means I'm just not in the know a lot of things sometimes. I had no idea who this person was. I had no clue. I saw that he had a lot of stuff going on, saw that he's very well respected in his field. But I didn't know him. So my first inkling is, what kind of interviewer doesn't say, hold on a second. I know I just asked you that. I know you're going on to some more stuff, but I asked you if aliens are real, and you said they're real, but let's start there. They're real. I don't care about rapid fire. I don't care about any of that stuff. What was rapid fire? I don't care. You stop and you ask, wait a minute. You just said aliens are real. Can you clarify? Because what we're going to get into in a second is you get into the whole, okay, wait a minute. Was he supposed to say that? He wasn't supposed to say that? So I told my wife about this story when this happened initially. She's not a believer. She's not in this type of thing, and she doesn't. She's like, okay, when someone says that it's actually happening and they have proof and stuff, then I'll start listening. And it's a lot of different people are like that. So I told her about this, and I showed her the clip, and she said, well, couldn't that mean that he just thinks that they're out there, and that he just thinks that maybe the other existence is potentially out there? And I was like, sure, it does, and it probably could mean that. But wouldn't you follow that up to get a clarification on that? She's like, yes, he absolutely should have followed up to see the clarification. And he didn't. So with that sentiment going around, you're like, okay, wait. So then everybody starts saying, President Obama just said aliens are real. And the internet finally started to catch on because, wait, how are people not covering this? Because I sent it initially to my friends who just started to get into the topic. And my friend's first thing is, how is the mainstream media not covering this? I said, I don't know. And then sure enough, everybody started to. All the major networks started retweeting, and I saw Time Magazine tweet about it. Like, everybody started tweeting about it. And it started to become kind of a bigger thing, rightfully so. And they're going, well, wait a minute. What does he mean? Because if you go back and you listen to that, the first thing he says is, they're real, but they're not being kept here. That doesn't sound like, to me, that they could be out there. I think that they're out there. He's saying they're real, but I'll tell you where they're not. They're not there, because when we try to go there, or the other things, when I looked into it, that's not where, they're not there. Maybe he said he's been there, whatever it is too. They're real, but they're not being kept here, is what he said. He didn't say, I feel like they could be real. I feel like it's too small or too big of a universe to think that we're here alone. He didn't say that, though. They're real, but they're not being kept here, is what he said. So people are going to, rightfully so, start asking the questions. And no matter how revered this interviewer is, this guy dropped the ball tremendously. I told my friend who's a big fan of his, apparently. He's like, no, he was great. He did it. I'm like, I don't care about political side or whatever. I don't care if he's on the right side, left side, whatever. Whoever it is, you hear that, you stop, and you say, wait a minute. What are you saying? And then he got so much pushback for it. Then he reached out to Obama's people to clarify and giving them a chance to come up with a statement. So here's what he said after the blowback itself.
The way that I understood that answer was that he believes aliens are real, but that if he hasn't seen them, it's because they're not here. Hence the, unless there's a big conspiracy that even the President of the United States doesn't know about. It felt clear to me. It felt clear to the other people in the room. But apparently it was not clear to others because, dear God, did the criticism roll in. And so I decided to reach out to the president's team and ask if he'd be willing to make a clarification to his statement, which he did. He posted on Instagram, quote, I was trying to stick with the spirit of the speed round, but since it's gotten attention, let me clarify. Statistically, the universe is so vast that the odds are good there's life out there. But the distances between solar systems are so great that the chances we've been visited by aliens is low, and I saw no evidence during my presidency that extraterrestrials have made contact with us, really. In other words, his clarification was exactly what I thought he meant and why I didn't continue with the line of questioning. Should I have asked the follow-up anyway to be crystal clear? Absolutely. And frankly, that's just something that I'm going to have to live with. And in fact, I won't lie, I've been a little bummed with the commentary, the discourse surrounding that issue, people saying that I dropped the ball or committed a generational fumble, which hurts. And again, something that I'm just going to have to live with. But I think Obama's follow-up at least should give the closure that everybody was looking for. Unless, of course, you view Obama's answer as evidence that they got to him, which, I shit you not, is probably the most common response to his post online.
Yeah, you dropped the ball. You dropped the ball. However, good on you for taking ownership of it. Good on you for taking ownership of it. He said, look, should I have asked the follow-up question? Even though he clarified what I thought, yes, I should have. I can't fault the guy for that. I can't. He's a human being. I still think it was a tremendous fumble because the problem is I don't care what the hell you thought. I don't care what you thought. I thought, I thought it was pretty clear. It wasn't. It wasn't. Clearly it wasn't. As I said, when I told my wife, she said, it could mean this. I was like, but we don't know what it meant. You got to follow it up, to which he took ownership for. But the problem with that is exactly what you said. Not necessarily they got to him, but maybe another scenario is, I shouldn't have said it that way. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have even uttered those words because that was just reactionary in my head. Yeah, I know they're real. And I don't know what to believe, what not to believe. The chances are that he probably could have been just saying exactly what he's saying, exactly what the Instagram thing said. But the problem is you can't ask him to clarify now Because we can clarify. He's going to clarify and say, yep, 100%, they're real. If it was in a moment of they're real, but, oh man, did I just say what I said? I wonder what was going on in his head when he said it. There's two things that it could have been. One, exactly what the post says. Yeah, they're real. I believe that they're real. But he didn't say, I believe that they are real. I believe, look, normally, when people are talking about this in a situation like this, and even him, people have said, look, the universe and the galaxy is so big. There's so many different things that could be. To think that we're alone is ignorant. That's usually the standard answer. It's not what he said. Are aliens real? Yes, they're real, but they're not here. Not, they're out there potentially. I feel like what he did say and where he pivoted towards, which I think was cut and clear, was I haven't seen them. And maybe they're lying to me, but I haven't. They're not there at this particular place. So if there's a cover up, then that's what a lot of people have said. If you look at age of disclosure, you look at these other things. So it's it is a bit vague, and it's funny because I'm working on and should hopefully get an interview with Representative Burleson. Working on getting that hopefully this week, maybe. But initially, when this was said, he quoted out and said, "Interesting but vague." And I was like, how is that vague? And when it comes out to the answer, I think he was 100% right. It turns out to be very vague and a very good pivot. In one aspect, you could argue, how vague is it really when you say, are aliens real? They're real, but. I mean, it's the first thing he says. They're real, but. Not I believe they're real. Again, emphasizing, not I believe that they are real or they could be. And guys, the guy seems like a nice enough guy who's interviewing. And again, that's got to suck. When you're so proud of getting an interview with President Obama, you're sitting there, you're having this interview, and the one thing everybody's harping on is the fact that you didn't ask that follow-up. Again, the guy's revered. When I said to what my statement was, I don't know the guy. And I said to my friend, because we were talking about, I said, the thing, he's like, did you see the thing with Obama? Yeah, and he had to follow up. And I said, I saw it. I said, the guy who was interviewing him, man, I know that he employs himself, but he should fire himself. Kidding. And he's like, what are you talking about? This guy's great. I'm like, the point is, I know that he's got a lot of people who got his back too, and these types of things pass real quick. But it is an opportunity that I think that I couldn't fathom it. I don't want to hear the stupid thing I heard about people saying, well, in the spirit of the speed round, he just kept going quicker. He said it himself. He knows he should have asked the follow-up. He should have stopped and asked the follow-up. Now, the other thing was that people are saying it was scripted and that he said, like, look, if you're going to ask him, you'll answer quick and do that. But that doesn't make much sense because then why do you do the follow-up? The follow-up means nothing to me, though. The follow-up means absolutely nothing because if there was like, what are you doing? Because let's say another thing, whether you believe this or you don't believe this, the conversation has been around that Trump is supposed to make a speech about disclosure. Initially, it was September or something. Then it was July, and now I'm hearing May. Who knows? I still think it's never, personally. However, that's what the rumors are. Now, if that is the case, if they decide that they are going to do a speech, and then Obama says this, phone call goes, what are you doing? What are you doing? President Trump's is making a speech, about to make a speech. What are you doing? Possible. And then, all right, well, the follow-up, I'll clarify. I'll clarify, and I'll say this and that. Again, there are so many different ways that you could now say this could have happened, like in where they got to him. Who knows who they got to him is? Maybe there's people. You can't say that. You can't do that. And he's like, I didn't mean to do that. He's also a human being too. The problem is that's what happens when there's no follow-up. Because easy fix. Follow-up question. Aliens are real, but wait, sir, aliens are real? Well, I feel with the galaxy the way that it is, that aliens are probably real. Okay. Then nobody makes a thing out of it. Yes, clarification. The thing he said in the beginning, like, I very much respect his follow-up to where he said, I should have asked the question. It's bumming me out, and I should have asked it. I respect that 100%. What I don't necessarily, I don't know if disrespect, but I think he's wrong about is, well, I clearly understood what he was saying. It was, as Burleson said, vague. It was indeed a pivot away, and it was a clear-cut answer. Are aliens real? They're real, but. So don't do that. Everybody in the room knew. Who? Your dog? Who? Don't do that. Don't do that. Second part, I got respect for the guy. I do. I got respect for him. Hey, people said I dropped the ball and it's bumming me out and I should have asked the question. Good on you. I got respect for him on that. I mean, if he would be like, oh, you guys know what you're talking about. I knew it. And that was it. And I knew it and you should have known it too. Then I'm like, think he's a douche. Not a douche. Made a mistake. Owned it. And now it's back to Vague City, USA. Because now every time he's going to do an interview, President Obama, they're going to ask him about this, and now he's going to give that answer. So this story is, oops. The question that I would ask is, well, wait, sir. You did say they're real, but. And then he's going to give the same answer. So anyway, what do you make of it? Do you think that it was an honest slip and that that's exactly what he meant and this guy was right? Or do you think that he slipped up in giving out the info because, yeah, they're real, but I don't know. Interesting story to say the least. Put your thoughts in there. Let us know. I want to hear what you're thinking. I'm very curious about this one. Thanks again. Talk to you soon. See you on the flip side. Bye. Let me tell you how many people I've had in my life that just can't quit nicotine. They can't do it. Try quitting. They can't kick it. And he said, I'm just reaching for it. Got to try to do it. Well, that is what Ultra is all about. Let me tell you about the Ultra pouch. You don't want to suffer anymore. You don't want to think about this stuff. You don't want to, I can't kick it. Here is what is so great and why people are obsessed with Ultra pouches. They are completely nicotine-free. They are caffeine-free. They're packed with nootropics that are designed for mental clarity and enhanced focus. The same kick as a nicotine pouch without the side effects, the buzz, the addiction, the crash, the jitters, all of that. And there's no gum rot. That's the worst. Most pouches elevate cortisol, they raise blood pressure, and they keep your body in a constant stress state. With the Ultra pouch, that lets you keep your pouches, but it's got that cleaner kick. So I had sent this to a friend, and man, they still get that pouch experience. Says, I really dig it, but what I dig about it a lot is that no nicotine. I said, I know. That's why I sent it to you. The flavor, the burn, the kick, the habit, without feeling wired at night. So the other thing that you want to see, a buddy of mine who also works out with me, and he says, listen, the negative about nicotine is it disrupts hormone balance, potentially leading to lower testosterone. Well, nicotine, I don't know if you know that, it can actually shrink your ball bag. You don't want that to happen. If pre-workouts make you feel overstimulated, Ultra is perfect, giving you that calm, steady flow state. 90% of users saw significant improvements in their overall focus levels. Calm, steady flow state focus, enhanced memory, smooth energy, mood balance, all with zero nicotine and natural nootropics. So, Ultra is the ultimate guilt-free pouch, delivering instant focus and mental clarity without nicotine or caffeine. New customers can use that code DTE and get 15% off at takeultra.com. That's takeultra.com for 15% off with code DTE. You're going to purchase it. They're going to say, hey, where'd you hear about us? You got to tell them that DTE sent you. Support the show and tell them that we sent you.